You're not gonna believe what my HOA just pulled. I mean, I knew they were strict, but this was next level petty. See, I've got a little helicopter. Nothing crazy, just a personal aircraft I keep in my backyard. It's not bothering anyone. It's not an eyesore. It's my property. But apparently, the HOA decided they didn't like it. So, while I was away for the weekend, they towed it. Asterisk yes, towed it asterisk, like it was some abandoned junk car. Now, I tried to be reasonable. I called, I emailed, I even showed up at the HOA office. But they weren't having it. It violates community aesthetics, they said. Never mind the fact that half the neighborhood has RVs, boats, and all kinds of stuff sitting in their yards. No warning, no discussion, just asterisk gone asterisk. So, I did what any rational, level-headed homeowner would do. I got a little creative. I had one thing they couldn't tow: flight. And as luck would have it, they were holding their monthly HOA meeting right in the clubhouse that just so happens to have a nice open parking lot. Let's just say I had a message to deliver, and a bucket of something special to help make my point. What happened next? Oh, you'll want to stick around for this. Now, before we get to what happened at that meeting, let me give you a little background on the HOA and why this whole thing pushed me over the edge. See, my neighborhood looks nice enough, but behind those manicured lawns and matching mailboxes is an HOA board that runs things like their own little kingdom. Fines for trash cans left out a minute too long. Letters about unauthorized holiday decorations. And don't even get me started on the time they made my neighbor repaint his entire house because a shade of blue wasn't pre-approved. But this helicopter thing, this was personal. I have followed every rule, or at least, there wasn't any rule that said I couldn't have a personal aircraft on my own property. It was just parked there, not bothering anyone. But the HOA president, Mr. Collins, had been itching for a reason to go after me ever since I refused to cut down the tree in my front yard last year. And when I confronted him about the helicopter, all I got was a smug smile and a copy of some vague regulation about maintaining the integrity of the community. That's when I knew reasoning with them wasn't going to work. If they wanted to play games, well, I had a way to make sure they got a taste of their own medicine. So there I was, staring at the HOA meeting schedule, my mind racing. I wasn't about to let them get away with this, but I also wasn't going to storm in there, yelling like a madman. No, I wanted to make a point, one they wouldn't forget. That's when the idea hit me. I had something they couldn't control. Flight. I called up my buddy Jake, who's just the kind of guy you want on your side when you're about to pull off something memorable. He's the type who once turned his riding mower into a go-kart, so he was all in when I told him the plan. We spent the next day making sure everything was ready. The helicopter was fueled up, prepped, and loaded with, let's just call it a special delivery. Nothing crazy, nothing harmful, just enough to make an impression. Meanwhile, I kept an eye on the HOA message board. People were already talking about my helicopter disappearing. Some thought it was ridiculous. Others were afraid of what it meant for their own property rights. Even a few board members seemed uneasy about how it was handled. But Mr. Collins, he was doubling down, reminding everyone that the rules were the rules. That's when I knew this wasn't just about me. It was about all of us. And if the HOA wanted to flex their power, I was about to show them what happens when you push people too far. The night of the HOA meeting arrived, and everything was set. The clubhouse was packed. Homeowners, board members, even a few people who just came to watch the latest drama unfold. Mr. Collins sat at the front, that same smug look on his face, like he had already won. Little did he know, I was about to give him a meeting he'd never forget. Jake and I waited until the discussion turned to community standards. You know, the HOA's favorite excuse for making up rules as they go. That's when I started up the helicopter. The engine rolled to life, the blades cutting through the air as I lifted off. I kept a safe distance, circling just out of sight, waiting for the perfect moment. Inside the clubhouse, the meeting droned on. People were arguing about parking regulations, fence heights, typical HOA nonsense. But then one of my neighbors, Mrs. Thompson, stood up and asked the question, "What happened to the helicopter?" Silence. Mr. Collins cleared his throat, adjusting his tie like he hadn't expected anyone to call him out. "It was removed for the good of the neighborhood," he said. "We can't have people thinking they can just do whatever they want." That was my cue. With a flick of the controls, I brought the helicopter in low, just above the parking lot. The noise was impossible to ignore. Heads snapped toward the windows. People rushed outside, shielding their eyes from the wind as I hovered in plain sight. The moment had arrived. I reached for the release lever, my heart pounding. And then, just as I was about to make my statement, something happened that I did not see coming. Just as I gripped the release lever, ready to make my grand statement, the unexpected happened. Sirens. Sirens. Flashing red and blue lights lit up the parking lot below, and my stomach dropped. The police. Already? I hadn't even done anything yet. I pulled back slightly on the controls, hovering just high enough to assess the situation. 3 squad cars had rolled in, officers stepping out, eyes locked on me. The crowd outside the clubhouse scattered, some running for their cars, others just standing there, mouths open, waiting to see how this played out. And right there, at the center of it all, was Mr. Collins' arms crossed, smug as ever, like he had planned for this. I could barely hear the sound of the rotor blades, but I saw him talking to an officer, gesturing up at me. Then the officer raised a megaphone. "Pilot of the aircraft, land immediately ". Jake's voice crackled over my headset. "Dude, what do we do?" I didn't answer. My mind was racing. I knew I wasn't breaking any laws, at least not yet, but Collins had clearly played his cards early, calling in the cops before I could even make my move. I had to think fast. The plan wasn't just falling apart, it was spiraling into something much bigger than I expected. My heart pounded as I hovered over the parking lot, my hands gripping the controls. The officers were waiting for me to comply. Collins was standing there like he had already won. And Jake, well, he was still on the radio, probably wondering if this was the moment we both ended up on the evening news. I had 2 choices, land and let Collins gloat, or find a way to turn this around. And then, in a moment of pure inspiration, I saw it. The clubhouse roof. Wide. Flat. I had 2 choices, land and let Collins gloat, or find a way to turn this around. And then, in a moment of pure inspiration, I saw it. The clubhouse roof. Wide. Flat. I tapped the mic. "Jake, get ready to record this." Instead of heading for the ground, I gently maneuvered over the building and carefully set the helicopter down right on top of the clubhouse. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't reckless. It was just unexpected, the perfect way to send a message. Gasps echoed from below. The officers exchanged looks, unsure of what to do next. Collins, though. Go. He lost it. He started yelling, waving his arms, demanding they get me down from their right now. But the best part, there wasn't a single rule in the HOA handbook about helicopters landing on roofs. One of the officers sighed and grabbed his radio. "We're gonna need a ladder." Meanwhile, I sat back, perfectly calm, watching Collins fume. I might not have dropped anything from the sky that night, but I had delivered exactly what I wanted, a moment he'd never forget. As I sat there on the clubhouse roof, watching the chaos unfold below, I couldn't help but smile. The officers were scrambling to figure out their next move. Homeowners were whispering and taking videos, and Collins, he looked like he was about to explode. Eventually, a fire truck showed up with a ladder, and I climbed down like a very cooperative citizen. One of the officers, clearly trying not to laugh, gave me a look. "That was creative," he said. They asked a few questions, checked my pilot's license, and after realizing I hadn't actually broken any laws, they let me go with a warning about causing a public disturbance. Collins, of course, kept demanding that I be arrested, but even the officers seemed tired of him. The best part? By the next morning, my little stunt was all over the neighborhood group chats. People were fed up with the HOA's nonsense, and Collins suddenly found himself facing a lot of questions about his leadership. A few weeks later, he resigned. As for me, I got my helicopter back, and let's just say, the next time I park it in my backyard, the HOA won't be towing anything